is Eminafi Marachi. I'm a student of intermediate level student of biochemistry. And here with me is...
My name is Taiwo Joy Adeoki. I'm a 300 level student of Health Education in student.
And we are both here to interview a trainer on a course GSC. And he's...
Okay, my name is Mr. Emmanuel Olonia. I'm a senior technologist at the University of Ilorin, and I work right here at the Central Research Laboratories. I'm a microbiologist by profession.
So we are both here to interview him on his skill, GSC. The full meaning of GSC, meaning graduate self-employment, and is a compulsory skill for every 300 level student in the University of Ilorin. And he is the trainer of a particular course, animal feed formulation. So we are here to interview him on the skill he's training, and we have a few questions for him. Okay, sir, please, how did you come about animal feed formulation? Did you start as a passion or a business?
Okay, that is a good question. For me, animal feed formulation came as, as one of those options in exploring the field of research. I am a researcher to the core, so I love putting my hands here and there and doing so many things. So formulating feed for animal is one thing that gives me it gives me a drive. There is the passion to do all of those, because if you look at the poultry or the animal industry, you will understand that there is practically nobody, maybe a few persons anyway, but majority of persons, we are into consumption of poultry and poultry products. And for this production to happen, for these animals to be produced, the statistics has it that 65 to 75% of cost of production of poultry all over the world goes into feeding the animals. So I see it as a means of meeting needs there, or meeting demands there. So it's a drive to meeting needs there. And so long as you are creating values and you are meeting needs, definitely money will come to you. You don't need to go to the money will come to you.
Thank you, sir. So can you walk us through the process of feed formulation?
Okay, feed formulation is, to start with, what is feed formulation? Feed formulation is simply the process of quantifying the amount of feed ingredients for poultry, all right, that you have to combine to form a single mixture, what we call diet, that has the capacity to meet all of the nutritional needs of the poultry. All right, so to start with, you begin with research. If you are a first timer, somebody who is maybe into animal production, this time livestock, poultry, and you want to go into the aspect of formulating feed for your birds, okay, there is a need for you to do research first. You don't just go into feed formulation. You're gonna have it rough. So you begin with research, you begin with knowledge, gather information, and again, all of this can be done if there are experts that you know. All right, there are trainings to go for, to attend, in order to be informed on how to go about formulating feed. You don't just begin the formulation. So information gathering, go for knowledge. By the time that is satisfied, of course, in the end you will come up with a procedure, a protocol on how to go about formulating feed. Because in formulating feed, it has to do with combination of nutrients. In the end, you have a compounded diet that is able to meet all of the nutritional needs of the birds. So it begins with knowledge. After knowledge, you now have the protocol on how the feed can be formulated. The next thing is you go into the market and you get your raw ingredients or raw materials. You purchase them. After purchasing, you come back into your industry or into your place of production. Make sure that everything you are doing is strictly obeying aseptic procedures, because you have to do it under a strong hygienic condition. It's like the food we eat, all right? Whatever is taken into the body has to be prepared under a very strong hygienic condition. Otherwise, you will eat and then you will eat poison. So you ensure that you adhere to aseptic condition, hygienic procedures on how to go about the preparation. Then you sort out all your raw ingredients, all right? Because your procedure for formulating the feed, we already give you a caption on the amount of the ingredient that stands for carbohydrates, or the ingredient that will supply carbohydrates, the ingredients that will supply protein, the ingredient that will supply minerals and vitamins, the ingredient that will supply fat, lipids, and what have you. So you have them formulated properly, done under a strong aseptic condition, and then you go into milling in order to compound it. Then after you have compounded and the formulation is completed, there is also the need for you to do a few analyses. So after formulation, there is a need for you to go back to check what you have produced. Does it align? Is it in tandem in terms of nutritional concentration? Is it in tandem with the raw materials that you formulated in the first place? Are we getting the point? Yes. So you do proximate analysis. Proximate analysis will tell you in percentage the nutritional composition of the compounded feed. Like, what is the concentration of protein? What is the concentration of carbohydrate? What is the concentration of lipid? What is the concentration of crude fiber? Are we getting the point now? Yes. So when you have all of those data, all right, of the nutritional composition of the feed after production, then you go back to the protocol that you use in compounding it. If there is an agreement, it means at that point you are safe. You can take out nutritional composition, fine. Then after that, there is also the need for you to do what we call shelf life determination. Shelf life determination in the sense that every product has a length of time that it can stay and be safe for consumption. All right, you know, if you buy any food material, any food products from the market, the first thing you will check, if you are meticulous like me, is the shelf life. The shelf life is the time between the manufacturing and the expiration. All right, so you check manufacturing date and then the expiration date. The time window between those two gaps is what we call the shelf life. So you have to allow the product, but all of these are done at the pilot stage of the production. The pilot stage, when you are doing little sampling and then you are doing all of this analysis. So from there you'll be able to establish that this feed I have formulated, all right, can stay for say 6 months, 5 months, 3 months, as the case may be, so that upon the expiration of that time, all right, you should be able to pull it out, and you should be able to tell your customers too that this product I have produced, this feed that is formulated, can last for maximum of 6 weeks, or 6 months, 8 months, as the case may be, so that when the product is expired, you know what we call expiration, at that time the product is no longer safe. All right, so that the farmer will not be giving your feed to his animals at the point that the feed are already bad. You understand? That could pose another threat. Then another one you run is called toxicological test. All right, that one is the feed you have formulated safe in terms of poisoning. All right, and we look at for stuff like aflatoxin. That is more like a fungal study. There are species of fungi that produce what we call aflatoxin, and that you also run during the time of the time of the shelf life, to ensure that your product is safe from every form of food poison. All right.
Okay, sir. As we know, this is a science-related skill. So there are different species of poultry. So what can you say concerning production of feed for each different species of poultry?
All right, that is a great question. Yeah, by poultry, you're talking about birds in general. All right, and if you look at even the category of the birds, the poultry or livestock, you see the layers. All right, you see we talk about the layers. We talk about the broilers. The broilers are reared for meat, basically for meat, and we also have the breeders. The breeders are reared for okay, basically so that they can keep reproducing. All right, they produce fertilized eggs that can hatch into chicks, and then those chicks also are sold out to continue in the business. All right, we also have the class of turkey. All right, they are diverse species, right? Turkey and what have you. But for the sake of time, I must say that this is the section we are beginning animal feed formulation. All right, so this is like we are in our pilot stage. All right, we are in our pilot stage. So a whole lot of analysis are going to be run on our final products. All right, and we believe that after this production, all right, our subsequent production, of course, is always going to be an improvement until we get to a point of mass production. All right, because the market is already out there. All right, so in answering your question, there are different categories of this poultry. Of poultry. If you are looking at the layers, all right, the formulation you derive for the layers will be quite different from the broilers, because layers is strict. So you have to produce or formulate feed that will be able to meet the physiological need of the layers, such that upon the consumption of the feed, it will stimulate egg production. All right, so as they eat it physiologically, their body is aligning, all right, or is adjusting to what? Egg production. Then if you talk about the broilers, of course you target the physiology again. So as they consume the feed, all right, and that is why the ingredients differ. For layers, for broilers, for breeders, the ingredients differ. But cutting the whole thing short, all right, the physiological need, the formulation has to target the physiological need of the animal, such that upon the consumption of the feed, all right, the feed will be able to modulate or catalyze such physiological reaction, such that the animal adds more weight, produces more flesh, or the animal is induced to produce eggs, or eggs that are produced, fertilized eggs in case of breeders, all right, and such that could meet such needs. And again, age is another factor. Age is another factor in formulating feed. So the feed you formulate for starter, we have what we call starter feed. The formulation is different from the finisher feed. You understand? And again, all is about the physiology, because the physiology of 1 to 4 weeks old bird is different from the physiology. The physiology is already advancing. So what a bird that is already mature and is just, you are trying to allow the birds to add more weight so that you can sell, okay, the body has matured to that point. What that bird could take, the one that is a week old may not be able to take it. So in compounding or formulating feed, you have to focus on all of those parameters.
So, sir, how do you ensure animal feed you produce comply with the relevant regulation and industry standard?
Okay, in industry standard and then standard regulations. Every feed you see in the market, all right, and those who are already up there, for you to get your NAFDAC registration number, all right, a lot of analysis must have been done on your samples, all right, and those results has to align with the standard that is expected of that product. Like I told you, after formulating the feed, it is always key that some analysis are run on the feed that is produced, such as proximate analysis. Proximate analysis will tell you these are the nutritional composition in the feed. Feed is about It's about formulating a balanced diet for the animal. All right. So proximate analysis has to be done. Shelf life determination has to be done, such that you are able to establish that between this time and this time window, your food product is safe for consumption. And then some toxicity tests can be run and what have you. So those are ways of complying with the standard regulatory protocol that is out there.
Thank you so much, sir. My next question is this. We know how the situation of the economy is right now in Nigeria. So how do you balance meeting up the nutritional requirements of the animals and the economy? How do you balance?
All right. I think everybody will know the current economic climate. However, the nutritional quality of the feed must not be compromised. I don't know if you're getting it.
Yes.
Now, the sole aim of any businessman is maximization of profit. All right. So if you are into animal production, this time if you are into poultry farming, you must not be penny wise and pounds foolish. So the essence of that is, if you look at it, let me economize and just get things together, get feed together without a well-structured protocol that can align with standard procedure, and then you just put feed together and you give to your animal. Number one, if you are into broiler production, the animals will not grow the way they ought to. And again, you know, nutrition has an impact on your well-being. For instance, your immunological system as humans. Nutrition, what we eat, has a lot to do with our body defense mechanism. So also it is with animals. So if the animals are not well fed, that means nutritional requirements are not met in their physiological system, then they will be prone to disease. So if you are a farmer and you are considering the economy and what have you, and you want to, are you getting the point now?
Yes,
so before you know it, you begin to produce animals that are not disease resistant. And if you are into large scale farming, now the resultant effect is going to land you in trouble, because your animals will die in good numbers and then you run into losses. So in as much as the economy is not friendly, you understand, as a poultry farmer, we must be careful such that we don't begin to formulate or give to our birds foods that are not able to meet the nutritional needs of the animal. Another way of maybe a way out for a poultry farmer is there are alternatives to every ingredient. If there are ingredients in the market that are on the high side that is required by that animal, all right, so you go for it, but not focusing on economizing things, and then in the end you compound feed that are not able to meet the nutritional needs of the birds.
Thank you, sir. So my next question is how to stay up to trend with the latest research and trend in animal nutrition and food formulation.
Okay, a way of staying up to trend. Well, the world is evolving, all right? Things are changing, and I think one of the ways of going into extinction, all right, as a human being in our knowledge base is when we are not learning, when we are not open to the trends in knowledge. So as a feed formulator, as a researcher in the area of feed formulation, one of the ways of staying up to trend is by attending conferences, research conferences, especially in this area of feed formulation. All right, conferences come up from time to time. There are lots of scientific innovations that have to do with feed formulation. Are you getting the point now? So a way of keeping yourself abreast in all of this information, attending conferences, studying, researching, all right, can keep you on point, right on point and current in the field of feed formulation.
Thank you so much, sir. So what are the setbacks and problems you might have faced during this course of business, and how did you overcome them?
Well, in every business, there are always setbacks. There are always there is no single business without setbacks. All right, and I think the current economic climate in the country has put everything on inflation level. All right, the prices of goods, services, everything is rising on a daily basis. So cost of production, even the formulation of feed, all right, the ingredients are on the high side. So if you are not courageous, all right, if you are not courageous, you may back out. But again, you look at, all right, the end in view. You look at it. So the cost of production is there. All right. Another point is demanding, because you must pay good attention to what you're doing. It's not something you do haphazardly. It's not something you do and then the whole of you is not in it. If you want to have the best of results, so it's demanding. It's demanding. So you must be equal to the task. You must be committed to what you're doing. You must be passionate about it. Otherwise, it will become a problem to you. And again, sometimes you have to optimize. You have to optimize. You formulate the feed, then you're not getting what you actually want. Okay, maybe after doing those series of analysis after the production, you have to go back into designing a new protocol that will give you what you want. So those are pockets of challenges that anyone is bound to face. Anyone in business, anyway.
So is animal feed formulation a feasible business skill, and where do you see the market in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, that is very interesting question. To me, is yes, emphatic yes, very viable, lucrative business. If you look at the world, take a look at Nigeria, for instance. There is basically an average Nigerian, we consume poultry products, right?
Yes.
We consume chicken, we consume eggs, we consume all manner. Do you get the point now?
Yes, sir.
So there are businesses like that that can never liquidate. And so long as people will subscribe to buying of meat, are you getting? Buying of chicken, buying of eggs, all right? The feed we are talking about is actually what produces those animals and their products. So if chicken will not go into extinction, all right,
Yes,
eggs will not go into extinction, the production of all of those things will not go into extinction, then feed formulation for the animals that produce them, all right, can never liquidate. So it's a very viable business and lucrative business, and I will encourage and advise any young entrepreneur to go into it, because so long as you are delivering results, you are delivering value, money will come. I'll go over that again. Yeah. All right. The aim of going into business, if you are a good businessman, the purpose is to maximize profit, but profit shouldn't be the prime target at the beginning stage. All right. The beginning stage should be targeted at delivering values. So if you are giving value, people will pay you for the value you are delivering to them. So a point comes and your vibe is all over there, is out there, all over the place, that your product is fine, is cheaper, all right, and it has quality, nutrients. Forget it. People will pay you millions and billions to get your product, and in the end, you smile to the bank.
Yeah, so my last question for you today is, what do you advise a young entrepreneur that is looking at poultry business? Like, what do you say to them? What is your advice to them?
Okay, number one is go for knowledge. Go for knowledge. I always, I'm a preacher of knowledge, all right? Because without knowledge, you cannot venture into any enterprise. Knowledge is key. So go for knowledge. Know what you want to do. I cannot just maybe go out there and believing I want to do something without having a good knowledge of what I want to do. So go for knowledge. If you're a young entrepreneur and you want to venture into the field of animal feed formulation, go for knowledge. Go for conferences, go for seminars, go for all of these things, gather knowledge, read books, consult experts who are already doing well in that field. And by the time that is settled, all right, you don't really need much. You can begin small. You understand? You know, there are people that believe until I have a million naira, until I have 500,000 naira, there are businesses I cannot try. No. When you talk about feed formulation, these are things, the raw materials are easy to come by. You can get to the market even with 100,000 naira. With 50,000 naira, you can get some ingredients, and then if you know the formula, how to compound it, you get all your raw materials together, and then you begin with a pilot study. And by the time the pilot study succeeds, you can go into a more massive production. And before you know it, you are high up there. Number 3, be courageous. Because there will be challenges. And one of the challenges that will come has to do with marketing. You know, these are aspects that people may not pay attention to. You don't just produce, all right? Anybody who is in business will understand the concept of feasibility study of the market. All right, you should be able to know this thing I want to venture into, how marketable is it going to be in the long run. So you do your market survey, all right, have some consultations done, and then go into the production, then begin to establish network, especially with the farmers, those who are into the production. I have this product, because you are just beginning, all right. Then finally, another challenge that will definitely come to you if you venture into this business. By the time you are beginning to come up, your vibe is everywhere, is NAFDAC registration. All right, now that is a way of conforming to global standard. All right, now you've come up with a product. Is this product standardized? Is it approved by the governing agency that is in that area in the country? In this case, NAFDAC. All right, so you know, registering a product with NAFDAC is not funny. It's not funny at all. But again, as you go up gradually, you see how God can prosper your business, and then before you know it, you've got into the height of registering your business with NAFDAC, because everything now is standardized. So courage is important, and then gradually as you move up the ladder, you discover it's just there.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was really, really a privilege interviewing you. I have learned a lot. I'm sure he has. We all have learned a lot.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.